Thanks, guys, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Flo Pollock, live from West London, the G-Tech Community Stadium. Kick-off in just under 5 minutes' time. Brentford and Nottingham Forest met on the first day of the new Premier League season. Forest won comfortably that day and optimism was high. But how it has unravelled for Nottingham Forest. After that opening day win, they went on a 9-game winless run, changed their manager twice, and now they find themselves very much in a relegation scrap. Brentford, meanwhile, lost their manager and their two top goal scorers. Bees fans were bracing themselves for a fight for survival. Instead, under Keith Andrews, they've gone from strength to strength, and they start today just 3 points off the Champions League places. Alongside me, former Nottingham Forest defender Luke Chambers. And Luke, with West Ham winning yesterday, your former side, Forest, must be feeling the pressure.
Absolutely. You look at the gap now between them and the bottom three, and West Ham, it's just something that wouldn't have been thinking about after that first game of the season. So they have to react now to that result. They have to concentrate on what has brought them some success, of playing even a success of a draw against Arsenal last time out. So they're going to have to really try and put that to the back of their minds and take care of their job that they can actually ultimately control.
The two sides are in the tunnel waiting to come out. In terms of team news, both teams are unchanged from their last Premier League games. A boost for Brentford too, as Jordan Henderson returns to the squad after missing the loss to Chelsea with an ankle injury. The Brentford full 11 then. In goal, Queven Kelleher, the back four, Coyote, Ayer, Collins, and the left back, Rico Henry, making his 100th Premier League appearance. The midfield, Janelt, Yarmoliuk and Damsgaard. The front three, Jensen, Schade, and leading the line, Igor Thiago. 16 Premier League goals already this season. He's having a remarkable campaign, isn't he?
Oh, he's been absolutely brilliant, and I think every team in this league needs a talisman, and he's certainly been the one since maybe Ivan Toney left Brentford. For him, he's the focal point for every single attack. He loves to get involved. He's very, very physical. He loves to attack crosses, and we all know how Brentford like to play with their long throws and getting balls into the box. And he's certainly someone that Nottingham Forest is going to have to deal with very, very early this afternoon.
Here come the two sets of players then out onto the pitch here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. It's a cloudy afternoon, so much so they've got the floodlights on, which I think is maybe a little over the top, but it's very bright down there on the pitch. In terms of Forest, they made 7 changes midweek for their Europa League game, but revert to that 11 that got that precious point versus Arsenal. Today comes too soon for Forest's new Italian attacker Lorenzo Luca, announced just yesterday. The Italian striker is on loan from Napoli, so they're starting 11 then. In goal, Sells. Back four, Ola Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams. The midfield three, Sangare, Anderson and Dominguez. And the front three for them, Hudson-Odoi, Jesus and Gibbs-White, who is Forest's leading goal scorer this season in the Premier League, but with just 5 goals, and how they missed the goals of Chris Wood.
Absolutely huge miss for them, and when he looked like he was about to come back into the side, he picked up another injury just before the Christmas period, and such a huge loss. And I mentioned the goals, that if they are missing Chris Wood's goals compared to what he was able to produce for Nottingham Forest last season, he's such a huge miss, and that is something that probably has a huge part to play in where they currently find themselves in the Premier League.
So the two sets of players shake their hands then, and the captain for Nottingham Forest is Morgan Gibbs-White, who mentioned as the leading goal scorer in the Premier League. 2 goals in his last 3 in the Premier League as well. And it's going to be a tough game though for Forest. Brentford have been brilliant at home this Premier League season. Only the current top 3 sides have earned more points at home than the Bees.
Huge, and question marks were asked over Keith Andrews' appointment. Was it the right one? He certainly proved that. They're sitting 3 points outside the top 4. Little old Brentford, they're not little anymore. They have got this new stadium, which is a fantastic place to play football. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction from the club, top to bottom. And again, they're only looking up.
Captain for Brentford is Nathan Collins, and him and Morgan Gibbs-White meet in the middle with the referee, who this afternoon is Sam Barrett. On VAR is Chris Kavanagh. As they shake hands with the referee then, and it's a happy crowd here at the G-Tech Community Stadium, and they've got a lot to cheer about as the two sides switch ends then. And it's a busy period for Nottingham Forest. They've got, including of this game, 9 matches in 35 days, and that Europa League playoff all but guaranteed. European football's not been as rosy as they would have thought at the start of the campaign.
No, absolutely not, and I think what they achieved last season was remarkable, but this squad was always going to be stretched. And you talk about the injuries to people like Chris Wood. It's been such a big miss for them. But it's an opportunity now. They've just brought in Lorenzo Luco, who's going to add some real firepower up top. And I think they probably need a couple more in before the end of the window to really try and compete across all fronts. But first and foremost, European football's been brilliant, but they have to survive in the Premier League.
Sean Dyche on the touchline in deep discussions with his assistant coach. He's won 4 of his 6 Premier League meetings against Brentford, his highest win rate against any side he's faced more than twice. But there is a bit of a feeling amongst some of the Forest fans that they're not that happy with the football that they're playing under Dyche, but survival's the aim right now.
Survival is the aim right now, and regardless of the style, the philosophy, it's about results. And Sean Dyche has been brought in to deliver that, and I think they all have to stick together, because once you start to fracture as a fan base, as a team, as a staff, it becomes very, very difficult to achieve what you're ultimately setting out to do.
It will be Brentford then that are getting us underway here, and off we go then. Brentford shooting from right to left where we sit in their red and white striped kit. Nottingham Forest shooting left to right in the black and bright orange strip. Brentford's unbeaten run ended against Chelsea last time out, but their recent form leaves them just 3 points off a Champions League spot this afternoon. As for Nottingham Forest, they need to continue their recent uptick in form in the league if they want to maintain a healthy gap between them and a resurgent West Ham just below them. Here comes Morgan Gibbs-White for Forest, tries to play it into Igor Jesus, but it breaks down, and Brentford have the ball in their own penalty area.
Yeah, an interesting kick-off from Brentford. We know they've worked very, very hard on the set pieces and just flicked back. I think it's to Damsgaard. He flicked it up once and volleyed it as high as he possibly could into the far right-hand corner for Thiago to chase. But Forest dealt with it pretty well, and it's just settled down now with Nathan Collins in his own half.
Brentford go for the long ball, but it goes all the way through to Matt Seltz in goal for Nottingham Forest. And they're not afraid to sometimes hit a long ball, Brentford, but also pretty good at playing through the thirds as well. Been such a revelation, Keith Andrews in charge of Brentford this season.
Yeah, and I mentioned, was he the right appointment? He's certainly proving that right now, and I think he's very, very tactical in his approach, and the players are certainly enjoying playing for him. You can see that for them week in, week out.
Collins comes forward, finds Sharda on this left-hand side, who shrugs off the challenge of Olarena. Still going here, Sharda, ball across the face of goal, and it's met by Thiago, but he couldn't quite find the touch. Behind it goes for a goal kick. 90 seconds played though, and Brentford have a really good chance.
Oh, what an opportunity it is. It's brilliant play down the left side. It's fizzed into Sharda. Olarena tries to jump in, and Sharda just muscles him off the ball, gets away down the outside the 18-yard box and delivers a fantastic left-footed cross just outside the 6-yard box, and you think the net's going to bulge, and Thiago gets his studs to it, and it just drifts past the far post.
5 goals in his last 3 Premier League games for Igor Thiago. Recently became the Brazilian player with the most goals in a single Premier League campaign, which is some achievement really. Now here come Brentford again. Jensen finds Sharda on the edge of the penalty area, brings it down brilliantly, and it's fired away by Milenkovic, but Brentford will get it back. At the back they've got it with Collins, and the referee blows up because there is a Nottingham Forest player down holding his head, and a little elbow motion you showed me there, Luke Chambers. I think you've seen something I haven't.
I think it was a little bit of a coming together. I think it was Thiago, and Dominguez is down at the moment. I think he's just caught one on his jaw. I think the Forest players were really gestating to the referee that it was a foul, but brave play on, and Brentford built from there. But we're just looking at a replay now, and I think it was Jensen that came across, just a little shoulder to his jaw. Wasn't really anything in it. He won the ball pretty well, and Dominguez got caught the wrong side, but hopefully he's okay and he gets up to carry on. But what a bright start from Brentford.
3 minutes played here at the GTEC Community Stadium on Sports Extra 2. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 0. There's 3 Premier League games to choose from across the 5 Live network today, all 2 p.m. kickoffs. Over on 5 Live, it's Newcastle, Aston Villa, Palace against Chelsea on 5 Sports Extra, and here, as I said, it's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 0, and then later, of course, on 5 Live, 4:30 kickoff, we have full commentary of league leaders Arsenal up against Manchester United. Finished in the earlier Championship game in the South Coast Derby. Portsmouth 1, Southampton 1, as Dominguez gets back up to his feet. He's going to have to go off the pitch before he can return here, but that early momentum that Brentford have started with has just been halted by this injury.
Yeah, and I definitely think it was an injury. It's not one of them where they're just trying to bide a little bit of time, settle the game down. Dominguez has turned blindsided into Jensen, who's given him a shoulder into his side of his jaw.
Here come Brentford again with Rico Henry up against Ola Aina, who engages, and he forces him back to Janelt, who's played in every Premier League game this season for the Bees. And Brentford trying to come forward, but it breaks instead for Anderson. He's dispossessed by Janelt. Janelt square to Jensen. Jensen thought about the shot, but instead plays it out to the right for Coyote. A lot of red and white striped shirts in the penalty area, and the ball's put towards the back post. Ola Aina wins it. Back it falls though, and then the effort comes in from Damsgaard, and it's deflected and an easy save in the end for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, there wasn't too much in it in the end. Damsgaard just held out of the back post, and Ola Aina probably should have headed it a little bit better than he did. It dropped to Damsgaard, who then tried to recycle it with a left-footed cross, but it's dealt with by Sells, and Forest really dealt with the danger comfortably.
Forest in possession with Sangare. He scored a screamer against Tottenham Hotspur before heading off to AFCON. He was away with Ivory Coast, but is back now, of course, with AFCON being over, as Hudson-Odoi has the ball on the right-hand side here. Exchanges a little 2-yard pass with Ola Aina. Drifts in field, Hudson-Odoi looking for options. Goes back to Murillo, who had a knock, so wasn't involved in the European game midweek for Forest. In now, though, is Ola Aina now has the ball on the right-hand side. He plays it across the face of goal, hits Rico Henry, goes out for the first corner of the game, and it's a corner for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, there's a first bit of play from Nottingham Forest where they've actually kept possession. It was probably the first touch for 3 or 4 of their players in Morgan Gibbs-White, Murillo, Sangare put his foot on the ball and started to control possession. They've worked it really, really well down this near right-hand side with an overlap for Ola Aina. Puts in a cross and it's blocked out for a corner, but a chance now for Forest to maybe put something onto Brentford's toes and see if they can respond.
6 minutes played, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 0, and Forest have a corner. Over to take it is Elliot Anderson, takes it short, goes back to Ola Aina, who lifts it into the box. Sharda is there and wins the header. Coyote then gets the secondary contact and then hooked away by Damsgaard for Igor Thiago to battle with Ola Aina, who wins that aerial duel on that occasion, and Forest have possession in the attacking third. Gibbs-White gets past his man, going into the penalty area, shrugs off a challenge, ball across the face of goal, and wide by Jesus.
Absolutely fantastic play from Morgan Gibbs-White. He gets the ball, he's got 4 Brentford players around him, and he skips past all of them, touches away, and Sharda looks like he almost makes a foul, but Morgan Gibbs is so strong, gets his body in, delivers a real good cutback into Jesus on the edge of the 6-yard box, who fortunately for Brentford, I think it's Ayo gets a block, and it's gone out for another corner for Forest.
Elliot Anderson again over this corner then for Nottingham Forest. Still 0-0 as the ball's played in. It strikes the midriff of Gibbs-White. Brentford do manage to get it away in the end with Yarmaluk. Anderson then goes down under a challenge and gets the free kick on the edge of the 25 yards out in the right-hand channel.
Yeah, second corner for Forest, and this one asked a few more questions of Brentford. It's defended pretty well, but it drops out just sort of 10 yards outside of the corner of the right side of the box for Elliot Anderson, who draws the foul in from Janelt, and another chance for Forest to put some pressure on Brentford.
Elliot Anderson, who was sent off on Thursday in Braga. It was a pretty grim evening of football for Nottingham Forest fans. An own goal, a red card for Elliot Anderson, and a loss as well, all in the driving rain in Portugal. It's not what you go to Portugal for, is it, driving rain?
Absolutely not.
Anderson then is over this set piece. It's in the right-hand channel, and our referee, Sam Barrett, having a word with the players in the penalty area who are all pushing and shoving. Anderson swings it in, cleared by Henry, headed back towards goal by Dominguez, and hits the roof of the net.
I can't quite believe he's had a shot at goal there with his head. That's bouncing ball from outside the D. Dominguez has gone for a header to try and score a goal, so I'm not sure whether he's massively misjudged that or whether he's had a vision last night he's going to score a header from 22 yards out.
It was more of a defensive looping header, wasn't it? Rather
It was one of mine, yeah.
Yeah, you want to be doing in your own 18-yard box to clear the ball, not to go for goal. And that didn't worry Caoimhín Kelleher, who's been some signing for Brentford. And Brentford come forward now with Sharda driving through the heart of the pitch, tries to play it out to Coyote, breaks instead for Yarmuluk. He goes out to Coyote, who's been ever present this season for the Bees, out in that right back position, the Italian defender. Brentford building, 9 minutes played, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Caoimhín Kelleher on the edge of his box now. Finds Collins, out it goes to Janelt. Nottingham Forest are pressing high, and it's played well through the thirds to find Sharda on the halfway line. Back to Jensen. Brentford fans enjoying what they're seeing here at the GTEC Stadium. As they have so often this season, the Bees have lost just one of their 11 Premier League games here at the GTEC. That was a 1-0 defeat to Manchester City back at the start of October. Here's Janelt now then, out to Damsgaard in the left-hand channel. Cuts in field, crosses the ball into the box, cleared by Dominguez. That was a defensive header in the right type of the pit, the right place of the pitch, Luke?
Yeah, a lot better header away for Forest, and they gain possession again. But I'm just looking at Brentford and how they're set up. In possession, Janelt is almost dropping into a back three on the left-hand side. Damsgaard's pushing forward and taking up an almost left wing position, and then Rico Henry is finding himself in sort of a number 10 just inside that left wing. So a really interesting start for them. And now in possession, Janelt finds himself back into centre of midfield. Jensen's then got back out to the right wing. So lots of changes and intricacies throughout the possession-based play that Brentford have tried to implement in this inside this first 10 minutes.
It's that tactical knowledge. Well, we've got you alongside us, Luke Chambers, as Forest are in a bit of trouble in their own penalty area. Damsgaard just seemed to dance past everybody. Sells came out and Forest managed to scramble it away. Olareina plays it forward for Hudson-Odoi. He then tries to play it into the path of the Nigerian, who's surging down the right-hand side up against Henry. Couple of step-overs into the penalty box. Delays, forced wide, and then lifts it into the box. Good control from Jesus, and wow! Nottingham Forest are in front. Igor Jesus. Ball played into the penalty area. Looked like the angle was too tight. Chested it down. Volleyed it past Caoimhín Kelleher. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
And just when it looked like Brentford were going to take the lead, Nottingham Forest have sprung an absolutely fantastic, ruthless counter-attack, and it starts with Olareina. He picks the ball up inside his own 6-yard box almost and drives, plays a ball forward. He continues his run all the way down the pitch, round the outside the 18-yard box, and delivers a ball that gets deflected. It drops into Igor Jesus, who somehow bullies Nathan Collins, controls it on his chest on the edge of the 6-yard box, spins and hits a volley. It's an absolutely fantastic goal from Nottingham Forest. Absolutely ruthless on the break, and that's what they've been used to be doing over the last 18 months.
Igor Jesus with just his second Premier League goal this campaign. His only one before today was a goal against Wolves back in December. And how Nottingham Forest need a number 9, need a forward to find goals. And he scored like a man that was full of confidence.
Oh, it was brilliant. Really good. He saw the flight of the ball early. He got his body in the way of Nathan Collins and just held him off. And the chest was almost to the right side of his right pec, and he's popped it up. And he's just spun first time and smashed it in. Kelleher had absolutely no chance, but credit to Olareina. He was on his knees down this near side in front of us as everyone was celebrating, just trying to get his breath back.
Brentford now will try and react. They trail here then by a goal to 0, 13 minutes played. Goalless still in the other Premier League games. Here is the goal scorer. Stabs it out to Hudson-Odoi. He lifts the ball into the penalty area. Good looking cross. No one there to accept the invitation though. Here come Forest still with Williams. Back to Anderson. Williams now crosses the ball into the penalty area, out by Rico Henry. Sharda then thinks the ball over Olareina and gets the better of him, but Sangare's there to help out his teammate. And a bright Brentford start, but it's they who trail by a goal to 0. Here is Sangare. And it goes to Murillo. Not in the squad midweek against Braga. Back now though, Hudson-Odoi edging forward. He's got Sharda back defending him. Sean Dyche on the edge of his technical area, barking instructions, gesticulating wildly where he wants the ball to go, and then Gibbs-White can't quite find the pass through to Hudson-Odoi.
No, it's a lovely bit of possession from Nottingham Forest. They seem to have settled down, but it's fizzed in from Anderson from the edge of the 18-yard box into Morgan Gibbs-White. He's tried it inside of his instep through his legs to try and flick it into Callum Hudson-Odoi, but it's just overhit, and Brentford regain possession 20 yards from their own goal and for throw-in.
Nottingham Forest leading by 1-0 here at the G-Tech Community Stadium as Murillo plays the ball back to Sells, all in yellow in the Nottingham Forest goal. The last time these sides met, the reverse fixture, first game of the season, Nottingham Forest won that by 3-1. They were 3-0 up by half-time. It's a really poor afternoon for Brentford, although Brentford have gone on to have the far superior season, as Sharda gives away a free kick just inside his own half for a bit of a pull on Sangare. Back now with Dominguez in field to Anderson, out to Ola Aina as Keith Andrews watches on. He was pleased, he said, after the loss to Chelsea with the performance, if not the results. That his side played with immense courage and personality, and they were a little unfortunate, in fact, to lose against Chelsea. More defending to do now, though. Gibbs-White into the box from a wide area. Ball across that 6-yard box, collected by Kelleher.
Lovely bit of play, and you see Igor Jesus again won another header up against Nathan Collins. He seems like he's playing with, like you said, loads of confidence, and brilliant bit of play. And Overs played it in from Morgan Gibbs-White. He sets the ball, he continues his run. It's a good reverse pass from Jesus, but his cross is just along the 6-yard box, and Kelleher collects it. But this front three, I'm including Callum Hudson-Odoi in that, they look like they're really enjoying this afternoon. They're finding a lot of space on this near right hand side up against Rico Henry.
Kelleher with the ball at his feet slides it out to Collins, who will be disappointed with the way he was out-muscled for that goal scored by Igor Jesus. And Forest happy to allow Brentford to have the ball in their own half. They're not going to press them too much. They've not scored a lot of goals this season, Nottingham Forest. Only Wolves have scored fewer in the Premier League. A really nice combination. Jensen nearly in behind for Brentford. Really good tracking back though from Nico Williams, and behind it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, Brentford nearly found themselves almost through with Jensen, but Nico Williams has come all the way across from left back and ends himself inside his own 18-yard box on the cover. Does brilliantly, keeps hold of possession, tries to get the ball clear. Jensen then blocks it and it goes for a goal kick. But that's the sort of defensive mindset that Nottingham Forest need to have.
Dominguez lifts the ball forward looking for Igor Jesus, the Nottingham Forest goal scorer, who doesn't win the header, but Nottingham Forest do win the ball back. Dominguez. Now it's back with Anderson, who really makes things tick for Nottingham Forest. Out to the left-hand side for Gibbs-White, who can't quite bring the ball under control. 2 goals in his last 3 in the Premier League for Morgan Gibbs-White, and not many Forest players are having good seasons, but I think he's a man that's fair to say is having a pretty decent season so far, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, and they need him, don't they? We talk about lack of goal threat, lack of goals even in the team, really. It's probably why they are where they are. But he's one that, listen, has to be on the pitch, has to be playing. And just noticed there, he's made a couple of forward runs, and it's took sort of 17, 18 minutes for him to do that. And he sees now that there are spaces. Jesus is occupying the 2 centre-halves really, really well, and he's able to run off the backs of Janelt. Just fortunately his touch lets him down.
18 minutes played, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1 in the Premier League. Hudson-Odoi running at Rico Henry on the edge of the box, drifting infield, squares it to Anderson, who fires one straight into a Brentford body. Forest still have it, attack still in flow. Anderson now lifts the ball into the box. Solarena is lurking, comes back to Hudson-Odoi, who swipes the air rather than the ball as he tries to strike it. Still though Forest come, a good moment for the visitors, who are leading by that goal to 0, that Igor Jesus goal. Sangare now, what about going from range? Instead plays it up to Igor Jesus, gets the ball back, still going here, Sangare, and the low drilled effort, about a yard wide of the post.
Sangare, he's just so influential to this team. He plays He keeps possession always, but this time he's kept possession and he's played a lovely straight ball when no one really was expecting it to go in there, into Jesus, who sets it off to him, steps away, tries to bend one into the far bottom corner. Unfortunately for Forest, it just drifts wide of the post, but Forest really are taking control of this game. Not seen too much from Brentford in the last 10 minutes since that goal went in.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 0. Aston Villa have taken the lead against Newcastle. Buendia with the goal there. Here it's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. As Nathan Collins tried the long diagonal to pick out Rico Henry in the left-hand side, out it goes instead for a Nottingham Forest throw-in, which will be taken by Ola Aina. Didn't go away with Nigeria to the Africa Cup of Nations because he's struggling with that hamstring injury, which has really kept him out of a lot of this season. This is just his 7th appearance in the Premier League, and Forest do well to switch the ball out to Nico Williams, former Liverpool defender, striding forward into the penalty area, whips it across off a Brentford body. Coyote, who looks round at his teammates in frustration as Brentford have conceded another corner.
Yeah, and there's a real intent to Nottingham Forest this afternoon. Every time they get the ball wide, they're not looking to come back. Once they're in Brentford's half, they're looking forward to stepping on and making things happen, and they've done that again. It's another corner on the far side as Elliot Anderson goes across in front of Nottingham Forest fans. What an important player he is. Yes, he was sent off in the week. Fortunately for them, he's able to take part in the Premier League today. He's been an absolute revelation in the centre of that midfield.
Corner taken short. Whip back to Anderson, who plays it across goal, out by Rico Henry. And now can Thiago latch on to the loose ball? No, he can't. It's poked all the way back to Sells, the joint Golden Glove winner last season with David Raya. Struggled to keep goals out of his net more so on this campaign, though. Forest in possession. Murillo into Sangare, who is an absolute tower of a man, isn't he? His legs so long, gangly figure. Here he is again, plays a nice 1-2 with Hudson-Odoi, and then Murillo fires a straightforward ball. Brentford nick it back though. Brentford trailing by a goal to 0. Igor Jesus with the goal on the 12th minute. Damsgaard now for Brentford, out on that right hand side, knocks it back to Jensen. Here now is Janelt, recently signed a new deal to keep him at Brentford till 2030. Key player for them, first Brentford player to reach 150 Premier League appearances. And that's the thing, Brentford have become a regular Premier League side, haven't they?
Absolutely, and they've built it so well. And I mentioned before the game, everything seems to be aligned, like you say, with this new stadium, with the support, with the ambition of the club, with the expectation of the fan base, and they're certainly exceeding that this season alone. But yeah, they just seem to be a club moving in the right direction, and why wouldn't you want to be a part of this? And Janelt's been a huge part of that since Brentford solidified their place in the Premier League.
Damsgaard into the penalty area is Collins, comes back to Damsgaard, trying to trick his way through the box, gets the ball across, but behind it goes for a goal kick. And I was going to say, Luke Chambers, back in your day, they were not always a Premier League side. You only just retired, didn't you?
Back in my day, yeah, how dare you.
Can't really say that.
Not long ago, but yeah, listen, I've witnessed that. We were chasing playoffs and promotions when I was at Ipswich, when Brentford were flying up through the leagues, and we witnessed it firsthand. So they've built something incredibly professional, and they're only looking in one direction, and that is up at the moment.
Midway through the first half here in the Premier League, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Brentford have had opportunities though, the best one coming in the opening 90 seconds. Ball across the face of goal by Kevin Schade, and there's a good touch from Thiago, but he couldn't quite get enough on it to guide it goalwards. His effort just went wide. Down on the touchline, Sean Dyche is having a angry looking conversation with the fourth official, although Sean Dyche does often have that kind of angry disposition, so maybe that's just him talking normally.
Yeah, you think so. He's gestating his arms now as it looked like it was a foul on Aina, but Brentford have the ball.
I think he was cross about something. Jensen switches the ball out to the left-hand side. Yarmulke keeps it in play, but it's booted out for a Brentford throw-in by Elliot Anderson, and I suspect over comes Coyote to take the big long throw-in, and Sean Dyche is still having that conversation with the fourth official. I'm not quite sure what it's about.
I can only think it's about where Aina was taking the throw from, and then the fourth official is telling him where to be, where it's probably not usually his responsibility to do that. So he's very particular when he speaks about the footballing rules, is Sean Dyche.
All the players then move into the 6-yard box. Here comes that long throw from Coyote, thrown straight towards the goal. Comes back, and Jensen on the volley. Damsgaard on the volley. Ball's bobbling around. Up it goes, not quite out, and then the referee has paused play, but hard to see what's gone on there. All the players surrounding the referee. I think some of the Brentford players are saying that they want a penalty. We're going to look at the replay here. I think he stopped it for a head injury, perhaps the referee.
Yeah, I think Morgan Gibbs-White ducks his head. It looks like there's about 30 players in there. Obviously that's not the case, it's 11 aside, but there's so many bodies in and around that 6-yard line. And Sells comes flying out, almost flaps it. Morgan Gibbs-White ducks his head down on the penalty spot, tries to head it clear, and it is definitely given for a high boot. But there were so many bodies in the way. Ball was cannoning everywhere. It looked like pinball for a moment, but one that Nottingham Forest get away with.
Sells takes the long free kick. Won well by Jesus. Hudson-Odoi now dribbles back into his own half. Still going. Finds Murillo, Brazilian centre-back. Now it's out with Nico Williams. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Elsewhere in the Premier League, still 0-0 between Palace and Chelsea, and Newcastle trailing by 0-0 against Aston Villa. 5 Sports Extra and 5 Live if you want to listen to those Premier League commentaries. Forest even work it down the left-hand side. It's with Sangare. Can't quite get past his man. Then Coyote now out by the corner flag, trying to shield it out for a goal kick, but instead it goes out for a corner in front of the Forest faithful in that corner who are celebrating.
Yeah, brilliant from Sangare. He's usually stood around this centre circle, but he's found the energy and the enthusiasm to get himself up the pitch, and he looked like Coyote was in danger, and he smelt that danger. He chased him all the way down with aggression and purpose, and he's forced him out to put the ball behind his own goal for a corner. Another one for Forest as Anderson goes to take it on that far corner. Nottingham Forest really dealing with this first half, especially with the pressure that is now on them after West Ham's result yesterday.
Big result for West Ham, back-to-back wins for Nuno Espirito Santos' side. Here comes the in-swinging corner, headed out by Thiago, the number 9 for Brentford, back doing his defensive duty. And now it's with Nottingham Forest, Hudson-Odoi. He plays it out to the left-hand side. Murillo now in the more central area of the pitch, slides the ball through. Anderson across the face of goal, cut out by Coyote, and Brentford get it clear, but Nottingham Forest have the momentum at the moment. A good spell the last couple of minutes or so for them. Beautiful ball. Here is Gibbs-White in the penalty area, trying to get past Coyote, does so, and wins another corner for Nottingham Forest.
Forest really playing well, so much movement and fluidity that Brentford just can't handle at the moment. They're looking round thinking they've got their men, but there is actually no one tracking runners. And I look down now at Brentford's bench, and there's definitely some intention. Jordan Henson stood up, potentially going to go and warm up, but they need to probably change something at the moment, because right now Forest, at the end of that passage of play, had 6 players in the box trying to score another goal, and certainly playing well at the moment.
All the players in that 6-yard box as Anderson lifts it towards the back post. Far too much weight and spin on that, and behind it goes for a goal kick. Bit of a wasted cross from a Nottingham Forest perspective.
Yeah, missed opportunity there. You expecting Elliot Anderson to put the ball on the money, and he's missed that out completely and lets Brentford off the hook.
Goal kick then for Queeving Keller. Hits a long ball looking for Sharda on that left-hand side. Does well to flick it on to Thiago. Thiago holds it up, keeps it in play. Forced away from goal though. And he's done really well there. Finds Damsgaard. Here's Jan Elt. Blocked by Sangare, and Laena gets it back, and Nottingham Forest in possession. They can't work it forward though. They give it away. Yarmuluk slides it out to Coyote on the right-hand side. Brentford bodies are forward for this. Damsgaard now picks it up. He stabs it out to the right, and then back to Damsgaard. He lifts it into the penalty area, headed out by Ola Aina, who didn't quite get the angle of that right, and he instead concedes a corner when perhaps he ought to have conceded a throw.
Yeah, and he puts his head in his hands. He just heads it. Ball comes in, never really under any pressure. Sharda's hung out outside the 6-yard box at the back post, and he tries to almost get too much power on it to head it away. He's underneath the ball and he just misjudges it and puts it out for a corner.
Brentford looking for a leveller. They are trailing here by 1-0. 30 minutes played here at the G-Tech Community Stadium on Sports Extra 2 in the Premier League. Brentford with this corner then on that far side. Penalty area is packed with bodies. It's lifted in and it's Nottingham Forest who make the first contact, but out it goes again to Jensen. He lifts it goalwards and clutched out the air by Sells, who quickly scans the pitch looking for an option to bowl it out quickly. Instead he holds on to it for a few more seconds and then plays it out to Murillo. His forward pass cut out by Jensen. The sun's out on a portion of the pitch here in the G-Tech Community Stadium. Not for us in the stands, though we're shrouded in the shade under the big stand, which is useful when it's raining but does block the sun when it is out. Rarely though at this time of year, of course. Brentford coming forward again on the right hand side. Ball's fizzed into the box, headed out by the Nottingham Forest defender. Out to Rico Henry on the left. His 100th Premier League appearance today. Another player that's been with them since they got promoted from the Championship. Jensen now edge of the box. That's nice from Brentford. Lifted in by Damsgaard, and Sharda went up for the header, but there was a Nottingham Forest defender there before him. Still Brentford come forward, ball on the edge of the Forest penalty area. Forward ball into the box, dealt with by Ola Aina, and back to the big figure of Milenkovic, who fires it forward. And there's a poor header, poor clearance from Nathan Collins, but fortunately for him, Yarmulke was there to mop up. Just under a quarter of an hour to go till half-time. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Keith Andrews urging his side forward, as are the Bees fans here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. It's back with Janelt. Nice passing on this left channel from Brentford. Janelt with the cutback, intercepted by Sangare, who goes up to Gibbs-White. He's dispossessed, and good spell of possession this for Brentford. Forest unable to get the ball back, and then it's a foul from the Argentinian Dominguez. Free kick for Brentford on the left-hand channel, about 25-30 yards from goal. Yeah, and I'm looking down and Sean Dyche is absolutely furious. Forest won the ball back 2 or 3 times and then just gave it back so sloppily. Maybe overconfidence, overplaying. The opportunity was for them to clear their lines and play it up to Jesus, but chose not to, and have given Brentford another chance to now stick the ball in sort of 25-30 yards from goal on the outside of Forest's 18-yard box. Big chance for them. Brentford's free kick then. Over the ball is Jensen and Janelt. Too wide really to go for goal, and the way that the players are lining up on the edge of the penalty area, that looks like it's going to be whipped in, and that it is whipped in, met by Milenkovic. And now Nottingham Forest will try and break. Here is the goal scorer, Jesus. Now on the left hand side in his own half. Fires it forward, back it goes to Anderson even. Good defending there from the big figure of Aya, and Brentford have it back. They're not happy with a challenge there from Igor Jesus, and there's also a Brentford player down. It's Damsgaard, who didn't get himself back up after that Brentford attack, and he's holding his knee, and that looks a little bit worrying, Luke Chambers. Yeah, big concern. He was down for a good 30-40 seconds before the referee was probably made aware of it from his officials. And I think Aya's down as well in the middle of the pitch, just outside the centre circle. So a couple of players down for Brentford. Worrying signs, especially with the Damsgaard one. He's way out of position, holding his knee, grimace on his face. Certainly had a real positive impact on this team over the last 3 or 4 months. So important that he hopefully stays on the pitch for them. So 2 players down for Brentford. Elsewhere in the Premier League, there's been a goal at the Palace-Chelsea game. Crystal Palace trailing by 1-0. Estavo with the goal for Chelsea. Newcastle still trailing by 1-0 at home to Aston Villa, and here it's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Later on 5 Live, of course, 6:30, 4:30 kickoff. We've got full commentary of Arsenal against Manchester United live from the Emirates. And on Wednesday evening, we've got a choice of 3 Champions League games that you can listen to on 5 Live Sports Extra, and BBC Sounds, Napoli, Chelsea, Manchester City, Galatasaray and PSG, Newcastle. For that, BBC Sounds is your friend. Simply scroll through the live radio dial at the top to choose the game that you want. And as we've got this pause in play, Luke Chambers, gives me a chance to ask you who you think has performed best so far in this game. Obviously Forest up by 1-0, and a bit of a surprising performance considering how poor Forest were on Thursday against Braga.
Well, they certainly needed a reaction, didn't they, to that performance, and the amount of people that I've spoke to inside the ground already today is how disappointed they were with that performance. So credit to Forest, they've come out the traps brilliantly. In all honesty, they should have been 1-0 down, and the form Thiago's been in for Brentford, you would expect him to take that massive chance in the first, like you say, 90 seconds. But worrying signs now, for me, Aya's probably another one, centre-half for Brentford, who went down with a challenge under Jesus, where his left ankle's completely collapsed under his body as well. So real worrying signs as both Damsgaard and Aya trudge off the side of the pitch for Brentford.
Yeah, it looks like Brentford are going to have to make a double change on the 35th minute. Aya is being helped off by one of the physio staff. He's got his arm round his shoulder and he does not look in a good way at all. He's shaking his head. So over he comes. Damsgaard also straight down the tunnel.
It's just, as a player, you know what happens when you come down after a challenge with an opposition player, and it's so innocuous as you go up, go for a header, then drops down. And it's a coming together from both the players in Damsgaard and Aya, who've really come up against it, and it doesn't look like either of them are going to feature again this afternoon. But big concern for Brentford, not just this afternoon but moving forward, because they've been fantastic, the pair of them. Brentford
a goal down, and they're having to make 2 changes here in this first half. So Vandenberg is the man that's coming on. He started the first 17 Premier League games, picked up a knock, and he's been an unused sub in the Premier League on the bench the last 4 games. So he comes on to replace Aya. And then the other change sees Dango Ouattara come on to replace Damsgaard. He scored a hat-trick against Nottingham Forest last season when he was playing for Bournemouth. But that is not ideal from a Brentford perspective.
It definitely isn't, but Nottingham Forest have been the better team this afternoon, so you'd like to think Brentford have some sort of reaction now from bringing those 2 lads on with the freshness of the last sort of 10-15 minutes of the first half remaining.
It looks like Ouattara's gone out to the right forward position, and Jensen's playing more as a number 10. Schade on the left, Thiago down the middle, and then Vandenberg's just gone in at centre half as well. He's pretty comfortable there. It's a good like for like change, but you never really want to change your centre backs unless you have to, although Ruben Amorim used to always do that for Manchester United, something I was always unsure about. Here come Brentford on the left hand side. Rico Henry, Ola Aina alongside him, back to Schade. Schade finds Collins. Brentford just trying to get some touches for their new players. They've just come onto the fray. Vandenberg. 37 minutes played here. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. They took the lead on the 12th minute, if you've just tuned in. Hugo Jesus with the goal, as Rico Henry tries to cross the ball, blocked by Ola Aina, and Hudson-Odoi collects the loose ball. He's out by his own corner flag though. Can he get it clear? Yes, he can. Only so far though, as Yarmouk. He finds Coyote, who slips temporarily, regains his footing. And now Nottingham Forest are on the attack. Sangare dispossessed in the centre circle, and unfairly so in the eyes of our referee. Free kick Nottingham Forest, and Coyote's fuming about that.
Yeah, there was about 10 bodies inside the centre circle now, all arguing the referee, but it looked like Sangare's touch had got away from him, and Schade came in from the other side, and it really didn't look like a foul. If anything, it looked like a foul for Brentford, because Schade got to the ball before Sangare, nicked it away from him. But Sam Barrett gave a free kick to Forest.
Forest now find themselves in the penalty area. A long ball for Igor Jesus. Couldn't quite bring it down, had two Brentford defenders on him. Here's Schade now, back to the substitute Vandenberg, who hits it forward, and Brentford struggling to click since bringing on those two changes. Long ball for Forest, up to Jesus. Good defending though by Collins on that occasion. Here is Schade midway inside his own half in a central position. Gets it out to Jensen. Brentford now coming forward with numbers. Slid it into the path of Dango Ouattara. Fires it straight at the goalkeeper. Comes back to him. Forest back in their defensive shape though. Goes out to Collins. In fact, it was Janelt he shot. That was blocked. Good opportunity for Brentford, and Dango Ouattara, who's just come on the pitch, so close to getting Brentford back level.
What a huge chance for Brentford. Nico Williams has tried to step up and play him offside, which was the wrong decision because it gives him free rein to run through on goal. Brilliant ball from Jensen. He delays the pass. Thiago runs the two centre-halves away. It's a lovely through ball. It's weighted perfectly, and you're expecting it to be 1-0, and it's a huge chance that's gone begging. He's missed it. He should have just slotted it or even taken it around Matt Sells. Unfortunately for Brentford, it remains 1-0.
Kevin Schade out on this left touchline where the managers are in the technical areas. His forward pass blocked by Ola Aina, and then Rico Henry plays the ball back to Collins from the throw-in. Collins struts forward. Still Palace 0, Chelsea 1, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1 elsewhere in the Premier League. Forward it goes, cut out by Aina, comes back to Jensen. Nice touch and turn from him. 4 goals in all competitions this season for Jensen. Just 1 though, just 2 in fact in the Premier League. Here's Vandenberg. All the players in the Forest half now. Out it goes to Coyote. His ball across, takes a deflection, and then Schade had gone for the volley, but the ball was headed away before it reached him, and Nottingham Forest will try and clear. 5 minutes to go till half time. Nottingham Forest leading by a goal to 0. Brentford have had to make 2 changes due to injuries. Olerainer fires the ball out for a Brentford throw-in, taken quickly into Janelt. He dinks it into the box. Schade gets the header. Will it break for Thiago? No, it won't. And out it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, Brentford fans starting to get really frustrated now, blaming it all on Sam Barrett, the referee. It was certainly a goal kick to Forest. But they're starting to build some momentum now. Massive chance that's just gone begging for them, but frustrations are now with Matt Sells in the Forest goal, taking as long as he possibly can now to waste a few moments for Forest to get in down that tunnel with a really promising lead of 1-0.
Nottingham Forest did win here last season in the Premier League. Ola Aina and Elanga on the score sheet on that occasion, and they won the reverse fixture, first game of the season, by 3-1, as I've already mentioned. Coyote, the right back for Brentford, fires it into Ouattara. He pokes it back and gets the ball back and fires it out now to Coyote. There's a Forest player down, but Brentford play on. They don't have to kick it out. It's not a head injury, and in fact it's Murillo who's back up on his feet if he is hopping. But Forest now coming forward, and Igor Jesus can't quite get it under control. Out it goes for a Brentford throw, and Murillo is down, much to the annoyance of the Brentford crowd.
Yeah, I think it was a coming together again from Murillo. He stepped out from back 4 at Forest. He's took one, I think, to the side and maybe the hip. Real collision has caused him a few issues, and he's not really one to go down. He loves playing with his heart on his sleeve. He's a real competitive player. He's took one right on the side of his hip as he stepped through the middle to go and win the ball off Ouattara. I think it was the follow through from Ouattara as he picked up possession that really comes through and crashes into Murillo's hip with his knee. Painful one.
So Murillo getting a bit of attention from the physios, and Brentford will want to try and get something out of this game. They've got quite a tough upcoming fixture list. Next up, they're away to Villa, they're then away to Newcastle, and at home to Arsenal. So that's not the kind of fixture list where they'd expect to pick up too many points, although this season they have gone toe-to-toe with the big sides, and as mentioned, they are not far off the Champions League places at the start of play today, so you can't write them off. But today will be a game that the form that they're in, the season that they're having, that they'll want to try and win.
Absolutely, and I think there'll be a few choice words from Keith Andrews at half-time if it does remain the way it is right now.
2 minutes to go till the break. Kevin Sharder now drifting in field. Murillo's back up on his feet and back in on the sidelines, ready to come back on. Forest playing with 10 while they wait for him to come back on as Igor Jesus fouls Vandenberg. Free kick for Brentford in the Forest half, taken quickly straight to Jensen. He shuffles forward. Callum Hudson-Odoi is there, and that's out to Coyote. Forward pass cut out by Murillo, who's back on the pitch now, out to Ouattara, who had to come on for Damsgaard. Back from AFCON, of course, he was there with Burkina Faso. And it goes to Henry on this left side. Sharder a couple of yards away from him, and he pokes the ball to him. Back it goes to Jensen. Brentford trying to build from the back, wait for the moment for that forward pass. Ouattara now out on that right hand side, sideways, back and forth for Brentford. Forest deep in their defensive shape. They lead by a goal to nil as we approach the final moments of this first half. The ball won back by the goal scorer Jesus. Ola Aina had spotted the run of Jesus, but the header was won by Collins, and it's brought down well by Yarmuluk into the path of Vandenberg. As the fourth official announces, there'll be a minimum of 7 minutes of additional time. That'll be for the injuries we've had, but that's a big chunk of time, isn't it?
Big chunk of time, and everyone starts to get on their feet and raise the volume in here.
Ouattara driving down the right. His cross blocked by Williams. Brentford corner. Brentford trailing by a goal to nil. Nottingham Forest in a decent spell of form in the Premier League. They won against West Ham, drew last time against Arsenal. 0-0, pretty decent result overall, but with West Ham picking up points, Forest need to start getting 3 points much more regularly, just to make sure they're not dragged down into that relegation battle. In comes the in-swinging corner, headed across goal and booted out and forward by Hudson-Odoi.
Massive chance again for Brentford, and it was almost like Nathan Collins. He's done it a couple of times this afternoon, misjudged the flight of the ball. Looks like he tries to head it back across when he probably could have gone for goal.
Brentford attacking again as the ball's lifted goalwards. Awkward one, and Sells tips it over his bar. It looked like it was a cross initially, but it kind of veered, took a deflection and veered towards the goal. Corner for Brentford. Yeah, and it was Anderson who got out, and he's just put a foot in, flicked off the outside of his boot, and almost like you say, picked up pace and dipped in towards the crossbar. Unfortunately for Forest, Sells tips it over and have to defend another set piece. Brentford then with the corner from the right. In-swinger met by Jesus, headed clear, collected by Jensen, who finds Coyote in the centre circle. All the players still in the Forest half. Forest look content to try and see out the 1-0 till the break. They've played 2 of the 7 additional minutes on the end of this first half. Collins under pressure from Sangara, goes back to Kevin Kelleher. Brentford moving the ball around nicely, and then it's a long ball looking for Kevin Sharder, who tries to get it under control, gets a push in the back in the penalty area, and referee points for a goal kick straight away. The Brentford fans around us all stood up, but I think there's not too much in that, Luke Chambers. No, Sharder tries to flick the initial one on the edge of the 18-yard box, but then he misses it. It then carries on running through towards the goal line, and Murillo just comes across and eases him out. Really clutching at straws there if they're trying to play him for a penalty. Just shoulder to shoulder. Murillo a lot stronger than Sharder, who probably, in fairness to him, didn't expect the contact. Half time in South London, it's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. Here's Ouattara for Brentford, midway inside his own half, tries to get past Williams, dispossessed, and out the ball goes for a Nottingham Forest throw-in on that far side, midway inside Brentford's half. It's been an efficient performance so far for Nottingham Forest. They lead by goal to nil, that goal on the 12th minute, as Williams dries the ball and throws it long for Jesus. The header is won though by Vandenberg. Fired forward by Henry. Here is Thiago, the number 9 for Brentford. wins the free kick on the halfway, and then he was hauled down by Milenkovic. Brentford get it going straight away though. Ouattara, ball into the penalty area, and Thiago wasn't there because they'd taken the free kick too quickly, and the number 9 didn't have time to get up into the penalty area. But it's been pretty quiet so far from Igor Thiago.
Yeah, he's certainly been in a battle with Milenkovic and Murillo, and you saw them coming together on the halfway line there, and Milenkovic just absolutely drags him to the floor because he's better off fouling him there than chasing him towards his own goal. And yeah, I think they've come out on top of that battle. It'd be interesting to see how it develops in that second half.
Approaching the 50th minute, 7 minutes of injury time added on. The sun is out on half the pitch here at the G-Tech Community Stadium. Plenty of grey clouds though surrounding us. Here's Henry up to Thiago, who again wants the free kick from Milenkovic. Referee content though with the physicality from behind, and Hudson-Odoi then runs at Rico Henry, but Jamaican international gets the better of him on that occasion. Here is Vandenberg driving forward for Brentford, out to Ouattara on the right hand side. He's got Coyote just in field of him, and he squares the ball to Coyote, the Italian defender. He twists and turns, goes back to Ouattara. Ouattara looking for the options, switches it out to Henry on this left flank. Here is Kevin Sharder. He's got his head up, lifts in the cross, punched by Sells. And out it goes for a Brentford throw-in, and I suspect this will be another one of those long ones from Coyote.
Yeah, a few questions being asked now from Nottingham Forest and their players. Still, Elliot Anderson really letting Ola Aina and Hudson-Odoi on this near side his feelings, because the ball comes in too easy from a Brentford's perspective. But fortunately for them, they've got Matt Sells in goals, who came out and brilliantly dealt with that situation.
Launched into the box then by Coyote, headed clear by Williams. Back it is with Henry. He goes all the way back to Queeving Kelleher, just on the edge of the centre circle, slips as he hits it forward and has to get back up to his feet quickly because Forest have won the ball back. Elliot Anderson now. Beautiful ball in field, cut out though before Gibbs White could take it and turn. Half time in Newcastle as well. Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1, the score there at the break. Jensen just inside the Forest half, plays it forward, cut out. Here is Anderson trying to find Gibbs White. Untidy passage of play, neither side able to get it under control. Brentford free kick on the halfway line.
Yeah, Forest a little bit erratic now with their possession, and when they're trying to find them passes, maybe a little bit of nerves creeping in because they're so close to having almost the perfect first half of football when they're feeling that pressure. 36
seconds remaining of this first period as Rico Henry crosses the ball off the back of Ola Aina, out for a throw-in, and overcomes Coyote for that long throw-in. Over from right back to left wing. He goes all the way back. He's going to take a big, long throw-in. In it goes. And the header wasn't far off from Vandenberg.
What a huge chance again for Brentford. Brilliant throw-in by Coyote. It's so long, it's almost level with the near post, but he just nods it wide. Unfortunately for Forest, they go in 1-0 up.
Half-time then, and Nottingham Forest are in front by 1-0. Igor Jesus with the goal on the 12th minute. A really good finish from the striker. The ball chipped into him, he chested it back to goal, turned, spun, managed to fire it into the back of the net. After that, Brentford had a couple of opportunities. Their best chance really was in the opening stages. Thiago went close from close range. Brentford also lost 2 players to injury. Christoph Ayer and Damsgaard having to go off, Ouattara and Vandenberg replacing them. But in terms of the form table and how these sides are going this season, a bit of a surprise that it's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that massive chance that Brentford had through Thiago, and the form that he's been in, the plaudits that he's been getting this season, you would expect him to have taken it, probably outrun him with the pace of delivery from Sharder. But credit to Forest, real good response, especially from that disappointment from their European fixture in midweek and currently where they sit in the Premier League. So that performance and result from West Ham potentially yesterday has certainly got the lads ready to go, and they've certainly done that this afternoon for Forest.
giving Nottingham Forest a clarity, a purpose. They know they need to win. They want to keep West Ham in the rear view mirror. Half-time here at the G-Tech Stadium, and it's Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. And join us in just under 15 minutes' time for the second half.
Mayor Andy Burnham has been blocked from standing for Labour in the Gorton and Denton by-election. Sir Keir Starmer is said to be among the 8 members of Labour's National Executive Committee who voted against granting him permission, with the only vote in Mr Burnham's favour coming from Deputy Leader Lucy Powell. The former Shadow Chancellor John McDowell has accused the Prime Minister of cowardice, but the local government secretary Steve Reed defended the decision.
People voted in Greater Manchester overwhelmingly for Andy Burnham to be their mayor 2 years ago for a 4-year term. He's only halfway through. Under the Labour Party rules, any mayor that wants to seek selection for a parliamentary by-election has to get permission first. On this occasion, the NEC has decided against it because it would inconvenience 2 million people who only voted for their mayor 2 years ago, expecting a 4-year term.
The family of a man shot dead by Border Patrol guards in the US city of Minneapolis have called for the truth about his killing. Officials have given conflicting accounts of the killing. Online videos of the incident suggest 37-year-old Alex Pretty, who had a licence to carry, was armed but didn't draw his gun. 86 people have been arrested on suspicion of aggravated trespass after breaching the grounds of Wormwood Scrubs prison in West London. The Metropolitan Police said the group was protesting in support of a Palestine Action prisoner on a hunger strike. And Network Rail says a limited service is now operating in Dawlish after an inspection. A sea wall next to the railway line collapsed yesterday as Storm Ingrid hit the Devon coast.
5 Live Sports.
Don't miss out on a whole world of live sport. With the BBC Sounds app, get access to the biggest sporting moments as they happen on 5 Sports Extra, Sports Extra 2 and Sports Extra 3.
Oh, what a try! Champion in Paris for the first time.
Scroll through the live radio dial and put yourself at the heart of the action.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Half-times in the Premier League. Newcastle 0, Villa 1, Palace 0, Chelsea 1 and Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Massive game in the Scottish Premiership about to get underway at Tynecastle. Hearts versus Celtic, first versus second, 6 points between them. Kenny Crawford.
Steve, it's Robert Burns Day here in Scotland when many celebrate the renowned poet's significant body of work. He never seems short of inspiration and drama, and neither has this Scottish Premiership football season. Today, the latest stanza will be penned, and just what will unfold is anyone's guess. Hearts 6 points clear with 16 games remaining. Even the team lines make interesting reading. 43-year-old Craig Gordon preferred in goal to Alexander Schwolow for the hosts, while new signing on loan from Birmingham Mark Leonard goes straight into midfield, which is blighted by injury and suspension. Up front, meanwhile, Burkina Faso forward Landry Kabore has the responsibility of filling Lawrence Shankland's boots. As for Celtic, new Czech striker Thomas Chivanchara, signed on loan from Borussia Mönchengladbach, makes a starting debut. Nigrin and Arojo also come in. Hitati Tuneke and Donovan drop out.
Rangers go into this afternoon's match against 9th place Dundee, level on points with Celtic. They're on a run of 5 straight league wins. Martin Dowden.
Yes, capitalising on events in the capital. The priority for Rangers today. They know Hearts, Celtic or both will drop points. Head coach Danny Rule looking to continue an almost stealth-like creep to the very heart of this title race. Results couldn't be any better. 7 wins in a row in all competitions. 4 changes for them with 2 new signings handed first starts. Those winger Andreas Skov-Olsen and midfielder Tochi Chukwueze. Don't write off Dundee though. They've had a real upturn themselves of late and earned a point here at Ibrox earlier this season.
In the WSL, Bunny Shaw scored the winner for Manchester City as they beat London City Lionesses 2-1 to go 9 points clear at the top of the table. Here's City manager Andre Yeglerts with Samashu.
Well, Andre, many congratulations. What are the emotions after that one?
That's a good question. I would say relief, because there is it is a tough game. I think we struggle a little bit in the game also. We don't find a way through them. They are defending very well, and they are lethal in the transition. So it's almost like you are nervous a little bit, like we are not breaking the first line, and then there is a transition moment. So that creates a couple of chances for them. but afterwards also very proud, because I think that this group that we have here, there is a winning mentality that says that no matter what, we will do everything we can. There is no player that is giving up or doing anything like that. They are keep on working all the time and trying to find different ways of creating scoring chances and scoring. And today we found it in the end of the game.
City manager Andre Yeglert. Other scores, full times. Villa 1, Manchester United 4, Leicester 1, West Ham 2 and Liverpool 2, Tottenham 0. Once we're done at St James's Park and Selhurst and the G-Tech, will be off to the Emirates. Arsenal, Manchester United in full at 4:30. Your commentary team, Matt Upson and correspondent John Murray. John, so much intrigue about this.
Yes, very much so. And it's almost a completely different match, isn't it, to what it might have been, say, a month ago. So obviously Michael Carrick, having had the dream derby start last weekend, I mean, what a start that is for him in the job. Manchester City at home and then coming away to the Premier League leaders, Arsenal. But I think as well, Arsenal, even though they are going quite serenely along, it is 2 0-0 draws in their last 2 league matches, against Liverpool here and, of course, against Nottingham Forest last weekend. So if they don't win this one, you know what the chatter will be.
Exactly. And Matt, you're the perfect person to ask this to as a centre-back.
Oh.
We spoke... What do you mean? You know, have confidence, Matt. Come on, you've got this.
Okay.
If you were in the Manchester United team today, which of these 3 names in the starting lineup would you least like to see? Gyökeres, Havertz, Jesus.
Well, while Matt thinks about that, I can tell you that there's a non-clue in the fact that Gabriel Jesus is on the front cover of the match programme today after his 2 goals against Inter.
Okay, so that might be a sign. Well, John,
have you thought yet?
Well, I have thought. I think it would probably be Jesus.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. I think he is in goal-scoring form. Havertz isn't quite there up to speed, and I think he offers a lot, Kai Havertz. And I think Gyökeres, for me personally, while he's a good foil and he'll work hard and he'll run those chances, I think he's a player that you can read and contain maybe a little bit easier than the unpredictability of what a Jesus brings. And I think that's the key in terms of the unknown and the spectacular that he might bring. I think he's more likely to produce that.
And there was a suggestion, wasn't there, in the build-up to this game that Havertz had a little bit of a setback.
Right.
So,
okay, so
maybe it's...
So we'll see, but he's not up to, he's been out a long time,
yeah.
John. So,
however, this time last week, I was thinking maybe Havertz would start this match.
Possibly, we saw him come on at Chelsea, didn't we? Yes, he came on at Chelsea and was building nicely, but still with the time out, you're looking at, I would say, a good 10 matches, at least 5 or 6 of those 90 minutes worth to really find your rhythm. It takes a long time when you've had that kind of layoff.
So there we are, probably Gyökeres.
I'm gone with Jesus. There you go, Steve.
The scary thing, though, Matt, for anyone who isn't an Arsenal fan, is that they haven't had Havertz for the entire season, because it was the reverse fixture opening day when he got the knee injury.
Yeah.
And yet they're 4 points clear at the top, could go back to 7 points clear again this afternoon, and they haven't actually had the person who they would have wanted to start up front for most of the season, which is probably Havertz.
I think you can say that probably.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, and I think that when he's fully fit, you would think that he will come back into the team. But that's the whole kind of thing that Arsenal have done this season, isn't it? They've gone big, they've gone with real depth, and that's just not in the centre forward position. That's across the whole team. And it's paid off, and Mikel Arteta has used it and he's needed it. And when those players have come in, they've been at the level. I mean, I look at the centre-back position and the players that have come in, your Mosquera, Hincapié, have done brilliantly when they've been called upon, full-backs, all over the pitch, wide attacking players, the rotation there has been managed really well. And I think that was his biggest challenge, Arteta, this year, to be able to manage an elite squad with that kind of quality and depth poses different problems. And I think he's so far managed it really well.
And on United to finish, John, unless there is an injury that I've forgotten off the top of my head, it would be no surprise, would it, if when Vicky Sparks hands to you for a team news blast, you say anything other than Michael Carrick's gone with the same team that beat Manchester City?
I think highly likely. The only thought might be that Mazraoui could potentially come in, but I suspect after the win it would be the managerial thing to do, wouldn't it, to name an unchanged team?
I'll be very surprised if he makes any changes. And the balance of Mbeumo down the middle and Dorgu and Diallo wide and Fernand, I thought worked really well. And I can't see any changes unless they're forced.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. So we'll bring you full commentary with correspondent John Murray and Matt Upson, and Julianne Laurent will be back with us as well for more build-up once we're done with our 3 commentary games ongoing. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. In fact, the second half has just got underway there. So if you head over to 5 Sports Extra, you'll get second half commentary of that. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Still half time there, but the second half will be on Sports Extra 2. We're ready to roll at St James's Park here on 5 Live. Newcastle 0, Villa 1, and Michael Brown's with Vicky Sparks.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, welcome back to St James's Park, where Aston Villa, leading by a goal to 0, thanks to that beauty from Buendia, are about to get us underway. No changes for either side at half-time.
More live commentary from the world's greatest sporting events.
Coming up, the Premier League. Never miss a moment from the biggest sporting events. More live sport.
Pure live sport. Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport.
Bringing you more ways to listen to your favourite sporting events on BBC Sounds.
Balls. Oh, that's an edge. Caught behind.
Just download the BBC Sounds app and click on 5 Sports Extra, Sports Extra 2 or Sports Extra 3 to never miss a moment from the world's greatest sporting events.
They go over, it's a try.
More live sport.
Pure live sport. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Referee Jared Gillett tells him to get up, and Newcastle in possession inside their own half with Pope in goal. The back four of Trippier, Chow, Botman and Hall, Miley and Joelinton and Tonali in the midfield, with Barnes and Gordon supporting Wissa up top. No Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle's captain, he misses out with an ankle injury as Joelinton has just dinked the ball out of play, and it looks as though Joelinton's got a bit of a problem here. He deliberately played that ball out. He's right in front of Eddie Howe, and he's going to speak to his manager now. But a goal in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts against Celtic at Tynecastle. It's Kenny Crawford.
7 minutes gone, and it's advantage to the visitors. Hearts 0, Celtic 1. Jamie McCart fell Benjamin Negrin on about 20 yards out. The Swedes stepped up and curled into the top right-hand corner, left-footed. Craig Gordon had no chance. Martin O'Neill applauded them from the side. It's Hearts 0, Celtic 1.
Thanks, Kenny. We will keep you right up to date with that game throughout the afternoon here on 5 Live. And goals flying in all over the place. Another one.
This is 5 Sports Extra.
Hello. Welcome back. Second half commentary about to get underway here at the GTEC Community Stadium, where it is currently Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. The Brentford players are all out on the field, ready to get back underway. They had to make 2 changes, remember, before half-time. Off came Aya and Damsgaard. They were replaced by Ouattara and Sepp Vandenberg. It doesn't look like they've made any further changes other than that, and Nottingham Forest still waiting to come out. Alongside me again for the second half is former Nottingham Forest and Ipswich defender Luke Chambers. And what do Brentford need to do in the second half to get back in the game?
Well, I think they've tried to play a lot more possession-based styles this afternoon, whereas maybe they might need to ask Nottingham Forest a few more questions with a little bit more direct play. I think they've caused most problems from their long throw-ins. That's what we've been used to seeing from them. Also, a few of their top players have had an off afternoon. I say off afternoon, first half. Thiago hasn't really had too much to say. Could have put his side 1-0 up inside 90 seconds, but they need a little bit more from him especially, and maybe a little bit more direct play, I think, inside this opening 10 minutes of the second half.
And looking at the half-time match stats, actually, Brentford produced 1.14 XG compared to Forest's 0.37. Do you pay much heed to XG, Luke?
I think you have to at times. There's a time and a place for it, isn't there? But you can't. If Brentford would have scored 2 goals inside that first half, yes, their performance wasn't the best that we've been used to seeing them, especially at home of late. But They could have easily scored 2 goals this afternoon, missed 2 big chances that they probably should have taken. They have been taking them, so we'll see what they can produce inside this second half.
And Nottingham Forest had 1 shot on target and they scored from it, and it was a brilliant goal. It really was, from Igor Jesus. Just his second Premier League goal this campaign. Elliot Anderson over the ball on the halfway line. He gets us back underway then. So as things stand, Brentford trailing by 1-0. Nottingham Forest would restore their gap ahead of West Ham to 5 points, which would make them rest a little bit easier. But Brentford will go for it in this second half, as they always do here at the G-Tech. In possession out on this right-hand side is Dango Ouattara. Nice little threaded ball through, but cut out by Murillo up to Gibbs-White, who can't quite get it under control, and it's caught by Keith Andrews, the Brentford manager, on the sideline, and he throws it up to Coyote, who throws it back into the field of play, up to Thiago. Went for that nodded forward ball to Coyote, doesn't quite work out, but it comes back to the big number 9, Thiago. But really good defensive work there from Elliot Anderson, and he's such a good central defensive midfielder, isn't he?
I just think he's absolutely fantastic. He's so important to this Nottingham Forest team. So they have to keep him fit, they have to keep him involved. He's been absolutely brilliant with the ball, and like you say, especially without the ball. He breaks play up brilliantly, but he doesn't just clear it, he doesn't just kick it out, he tries to keep possession and get Forest building again. He's been magnificent since he's joined the club.
Played every Premier League minute this campaign so far, Elliot Anderson. Sharda coming down the left for Brentford, won back though by Ola Aina. A good battle between Sharda and Aina on that far side in the first half. As Matt Seltz hits a long ball, Coyote will get there ahead of Jesus. Steps in field and finds Vandenberg. Here is Collins now. 2 assists and 1 goal in his last 3 in the Premier League, and he could have had a goal in that first half with an effort from the corner. Jensen tries to skip through the Forest defenders, and he does well. Plays it into Thiago, back to goal, tries to lay it back into Sharda's path, unable to do so, and Forest able to clear with Dominguez. Brentford win it back though. Here is Jensen, 20 yards from goal. Back to Henry. Jensen again on the corner of the penalty area. Back to Yarmouk. He turns away from goal. Into the feet of Jensen, and is dispossessed again by Elliot Anderson, who then wins the free kick.
Yeah, he's there again, and Brentford have overplayed then, and we talk about how are they going to improve it. Get the ball in the box, be a bit more direct. They're keeping the ball round the outside of Nottingham Forest 18-yard box, side to side, back and forward. You're not going to break them down, you're going to have to put the ball forward and have a forward run. But again, Elliot Anderson, the man, nicks the ball away from Jensen, drives away from 2 and is dragged down.
And as Arsenal learnt last week, it's not always easy to break down a Sean Dyche side. He's got Nottingham Forest much more secure at the back, that's fair to say.
And definitely, and I think that's what their foundation's been built on, and their successes in last season especially, as a solid back 4, a solid midfield 4, and that was something that Ange Postecoglou went away from as soon as he took over.
Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Long ball looking for Kevin Sharda, but will Thiago get onto it instead? It's brilliant defending though from Milenkovic. Got in between the 2 forwards and just poked it out for a corner.
Yeah, brilliant defending from the big man. It's a ball over the top from Janelt looking for Sharda, who drives away, but Ola Aina uses his body brilliantly just to slow him down. But then Thiago is nipping in straight through the middle of the pitch towards the goalkeeper in the penalty spot, and Milenkovic just able to get his right foot to it and turn it away for a corner.
Brentford corner though. Elsewhere, Chelsea leading Palace by 2-0. Still Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. Live commentary of course on 5 Live at 4:30. Arsenal Manchester United. Jensen lifts the ball towards the back post. Ouattara is there, gets the header, flicks it back across goal. It's then an overhead effort from Yarmouk, but it loops well wide of target.
Yeah, certainly a well-executed set piece from Brentford. Real long, high searching ball to the back post where Collins had pinned in. I think it was Murillo, and then Ouattara came around the back. It almost looked like a free header, but Sangare, like we mentioned, his importance as well as Elliot Anderson. He saw the flight of the ball, saw the danger, and shifted almost 5 or 6 yards to the back post and ends up getting himself in the way.
No changes at the break then, so let me give you the full lineups for both sides. So for Brentford, it's Kelleher in goal still. Henry, Collins, Vandenberg, Coyote. The midfield three, Jensen, Janelt, Yarmouk. The front three, Schade, Thiago and Ouattara. Nottingham Forest have the ball in Brentford's half. They're dispossessed though, and Sean Dyche looks away in disgust at that. In terms of the Forest lineup, they've still got Sells in goal. They didn't make any changes at the break. Aina, Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams, the back four. The midfield three, such a solid midfield three, Anderson, Sangare and Dominguez. And the front three, Gibbs, White and Hudson-Odoi, are either side of the only goal scorer of the game so far, Igor Jesus. 50 minutes on the clock. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Brentford in possession.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest now just dropping into almost a 4-4-2. Dominguez playing off this left-hand side when they haven't got the ball, and then they just retreat back into shape, allowing sort of Jesus to just try and get a little bit of pressure on Brentford, but they look very, very solid at the moment, Nottingham Forest.
Long ball from Jensen, looking for Schade, met though and headed out for a throw-in by Milenkovic, another player that's played every minute this Premier League season. A big centre half for Nottingham Forest. Brentford in possession. Jensen trying to make something happen down the left. Always forced backward. It's really good defending from Nottingham Forest. They have all their spacing perfect, so it's really hard to find that through ball.
Exactly that, and I think you mentioned, okay, they're in a 4-4-2, a 3-5-2 or whatever it is, but it's those distances, sort of 10-15 yards, no more in between each department, the back four, the midfield four, the strikers, and then they're just moving in unison, and it's almost telepathy on the side, but they now have a long throw to defend against, which has probably been the one thing that's caused them the most problems this afternoon.
Yep, up comes Coyote, who drives the ball on a towel. We saw a brilliant Bournemouth goal, last minute winner from a long throw in yesterday against Liverpool. That time it actually takes it short, and then it's then crossed into the box instead. Schade jumped, couldn't quite reach it. Ouattara trying to keep it alive, forced towards the corner flag and well away from goal, and it's won really well by Murillo, who dribbles it forward. Back to Anderson, who hits it long. Gibbs White is there to challenge Coyote, and back comes Vandenberg to play it all the way back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, defended well again from Forest. This time Brentford decided to take a short one. And now we mentioned going long. Janelt plays a 70-yard ball over the top that goes through to Sells, but just a little bit of frustration again creeping in to the G-Tech, and as you hear Nottingham Forest now start to raise the volume, it's a real disappointing performance so far in terms of chances created for Brentford.
Brentford behind. They trail by a goal to nil. They're in possession though with Yarmouk. Back to Coyote. He isn't under any pressure. Plays a quick one-touch pass with Yarmouk. And it goes to Collins. Henry now up to Schade, just inside his own half on that right-hand side. There's a nice ball infield to Jensen. There's runners for Brentford, but again it's with Schade. And it's very controlled by Nottingham Forest. Brentford always forced sideways or forced backwards. That forward ball just not on. The option isn't there. The players are making the runs, they're making the movement. Here is Coyote, they're out with space on the right-hand side. Plays it back. It's a good cross ball in, and pretty unorthodox clearance from Sangare, but it was effective. As Hudson-Odoi battles away and comes away with it. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi and slips at the crucial moment. He did so well. Really unfortunate for the England attacker. Brentford in possession, back with Caoimhín Kelleher, who really hasn't had too much to do aside from picking the ball out of his own net in the 12th minute. Must be so frustrating for a goalkeeper, that. Keith Andrews, the manager for Brentford, looking like a frustrated man on the sidelines. He's not had too much to be frustrated about this season. Brentford having a really good time of it, but they trail here by a goal to nil.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration, like I say, creeping in for Brentford, but if they've had those two big chances in that first half, the will ultimately tell them they can break this Nottingham Forest side down, but at the moment, the distances we spoke about, Nottingham Forest have got it absolutely nailed down to a T.
Collins plays it up to Ouattara. He's sent wide, he just about keeps it in and then manages to poke it off Nico Williams for a throw-in. Out by the corner flag.
Yeah, a bit more direct play again, like we mentioned, playing forward, playing through the lines with pace, and that's certainly what Brentford did there. But another long throw for Nottingham Forest to defend.
Again, it is Coyote. He's going to have sore arms after this, isn't he? All the throwings he's done. And it comes, and it's out by Milenkovic, and then up rather than out by Hudson-Odoi. Comes back out to Coyote, out by the corner flag. He goes back to Janelt, who spins the ball in. Sharda with the header, cleared by Milenkovic. I wonder what the ratio is in terms of touches with his feet and touches with his hand for Coyote.
Yeah, I would actually have to be a good interesting fact to know that in the stats. But he's playing a little bit more advanced now down this right hand side in front of us. I think they need that to try and create the overload.
Yarmulke wins it back. I don't think Opta produces those stats. Here is Jensen now on the edge of the box. Out to Ouattara, who's forced wide. He dinks it across the 6-yard box, and it's cleared by Sangario. Insofar as Rico Henry cries of shoot, instead he plays it into Thiago, who tries to volley it. He just didn't quite get his angles right. It just caught his toe and span away from him.
And I think that sums up his performance so far this afternoon. A real good chance, and it's almost a swing and a miss on the side of the 6-yard box.
Brentford keep coming though, ball in, there is Sharda, met by Aina, good header, breaks to Sangari on the edge of the box, who clears up to Igor Jesus. Forest can't get it out of their own defensive third at the moment. This is good pressure from the Bees. And Sean Dyche goes to the edge of his technical area and gestures all his players forward. He wants them to come out. They really drop deep, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, you can feel it now. It's a little bit turned now for Brentford. They've now committed everyone forward inside this half against Forest now.
Again, Forest clear their own box, but again, Ouattara has it now out on the right-hand side. Ball across goal with the outside of his foot, cleared by Murillo, but again, it's not the greatest of clearance. And then Dominguez tries to get a cheap free kick, and then again goes down and will win that free kick, high foot against him, but there's a bit of play acting there, I think it's fair to say, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, I don't think he was caught too much, but it is that one. If it's just a little stooping header on the corner of the 18-yard box, and he just gets it away before, I think it's Yarmulke, he tries to poke it away, but the chance going back to Thiago's involvement today. A cross comes in from Rico Henry on the corner of the 18-yard box along the 6-yard line, and he just looks like he's going to stroke it in. He just misjudges the flight, and that's probably summed his performance up so far. So if he can just improve 10-15%, I think he's certainly going to ask Nottingham Forest a lot more questions. But Forest now perspective, you look at Sean Dyche, he's going absolutely crazy on this near side. Get out to the ball, get up, get some pressure on the ball, not just sitting in and accepting that Brentford are going to have the majority of the possession for the remainder of the afternoon.
Forest take the free kick long. 58 minutes played here at the G-Tech. Brentford still behind. Nottingham Forest lead through that Igor Jesus goal. Elsewhere, Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3, and with what's going on at Crystal Palace, they could see themselves dragged into a bit of a relegation scrap. It would probably help Forest to have someone else down there with them. Of course, as it stands, it's Wolves, Burnley and West Ham in that relegation space. Actually, in terms of the Premier League, Nottingham Forest, they've got Crystal Palace next, then Leeds United, then Wolves, so that is a run of games which they could put together a good set of results. But if they lose to them, they're kind of 6-pointers.
I think they all are now. They have to be prepared to deal with that pressure now.
Forest throw, they've got the ball out near the Brentford corner flag, and it ricochets off Nico Williams and goes out for a Brentford goal kick. Queven Keller wants to get it going immediately. He rolls it into Collins, who takes the goal kick back to Kelleher. Faced 6 Premier League penalties this season, Queven Keller. He saved 3 of them. He has been a really astute signing for Brentford. And as I said, hasn't had too much to do in this second half, but his side trail by a goal to 0. Henry out on that far side for Brentford. Goes back, and in field it's now with Vandenberg. Coyote now pressed by Dominguez, who kicked it off his toe but sends it only back to Vandenberg, who hits a long ball with Sharda, flicks it on really well. Here's Jensen in the box, tries to feed Thiago back to goal, finds Jensen again. Jensen then lifts it in looking for Ouattara, and it's headed clear well by Williams. Lorena now trying to dribble it away from his own goal, instead gifts it to Sharda, who fires it off Anderson. Throw in for Brentford. And Schade still feeling the after effects of a bit of a high boot on his head.
Yeah, again, we've had quite a few of those today, but it's Jensen who carried on. He's playing a lot more advanced now for Brentford, and he got himself almost inside the 18-yard box, just couldn't find Thiago with any real quality, and Forest were able to get men behind the ball, but it does certainly look like it's one-way traffic now, and it must be worrying for Sean Dyche that they're probably not going to be able to keep up this level of intensity defensively for the rest of the game.
And they're about to make a change as well. Amari Hutchinson is stripped off and ready to go. The £37 million signing in the summer. Might he be able to help them relieve a little bit of pressure? 1 hour played here at the G-Tech then. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Out with Rico Henry, who can't quite control the ball that was fizzed into him. Out it goes for a Forest throw in, and Sean Dyche will use this opportunity to make that change then. So Amari Hutchinson comes on, and he's replacing Dominguez. Interesting, Luke Chambers.
Yeah, I think that'll mean that Callum Hudson-Odoi will come over to this near side and play off the left. Hutchinson is definitely a right side operator. He loves to come inside on that left foot, and you mentioned, can he be the one to relieve a little bit of pressure for Forest? He's certainly someone that likes to drive and carry the ball up the pitch using his low centre of gravity and his agility. He's got some real good pace and quality about him. So when you've got a £37 million signing sitting on your bench, you want to get him involved more often than not at the moment, and certainly someone that can try and turn the tide for Forest in this second half.
He was one of their most expensive acquisitions in the summer, Amari Hutchinson. Forest, though, did spend £180 million on 13 signings, and I think it's hard to say that any of them have been a real roaring success. There's a good article actually on the BBC Sport website about those signings for Forest. Back underway though, and Brentford's Jensen gets away from Ola Aina, slides into the path of Schade in the penalty area. Schade forced wide, down under, a knock from Murillo, nothing given.
No, we had another one of these in the first half, and it's just what Murillo does. He reads the danger, Schade's touch, tries to get away, and Murillo just comes across, times it to perfection, just bodies in with his left shoulder. Schade goes down way too easy for me. Again, not expecting that impact to come. He could have been a little bit smarter, ducked his shoulder in maybe. So then Murillo's contact ends up being in his back, but another concern for them, but brilliant defending from Murillo.
The Forest fans are singing in that corner. The Brentford fans a little quiet around the G-Tech Stadium here. It's a small stadium. Nice compact ground though. We've got a great position here from the radio gantry, just inside one half of the pitch, but a nice angle to enjoy the football. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Elsewhere, Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 3, Newcastle United 0, Aston Villa 1, and Arsenal against Manchester United is live on 5 Live at 4:30. Full commentary with John Murray at that one. Brentford have the ball then in their own half. And they have scored plenty of goals this season, yet to score this afternoon, but coming into this game weekend they were the 6th highest goal scorers in the league, more goals than Liverpool and Villa, so their fans will not have lost hope yet as Ouattara fouls Williams right in front of Sean Dyche, and it's a free kick for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one now for Brentford, because before they're dropping Yarmulke in with Janelt and 2 sitting holding midfield players, and Jensen was almost floating from right wing to left wing from everywhere, but they almost look like they're now playing with 2 number 10s. Schade's out wide on that left hand side, Ouattara's on this near right hand side, and almost playing with a front 5 at times when they're playing it forward, and Forest have had to drop Sangare in and Anderson into almost a back 5 or 6 for Forest. Really interesting tactical battle now going on this touchline.
Williams sends the free kick right into the gloves of Queven Kelleher, who bowls it out. Brentford trying to get the game moving, Forest trying to slow it down, halt momentum whenever they get the opportunity. It's Forest who lead by a goal to 0. Coyote now on this right hand side, in field to Yarmulke. Igor Jesus pressing Vandenberg, and he's forced back to Collins. Forest in a good defensive shape. Out it goes to Rico Henry. Brentford switching the point of attack, going from right to left, trying to move those Forest defenders around. Sometimes it's a bit like a game of chess, trying to get the pawns out of position so you can go at the queen. I say that, Luke Chambers, but actually I aren't very good at chess. I've not played it in about 10 years.
Yeah, Flo, I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest. Yeah, but it's a chess match at the moment, and Forest are dealing with it very, very well. Vandenberg's playing out right back at the moment. He's Brentford's centre half. They're just trying to find a little bit of an overload, drag Forest about at the moment, but everyone's sticking to their jobs.
Thiago though, great flick round the corner for Ouattara, forced away from goal by Williams. In by Coyote, brilliant ball. Olaina's there on the 6-yard line to head it clear. Still Brentford come, Vandenberg pokes it out really well to Coyote, flicks it into Ouattara, his ball across is a good one, and again Olaina is there. The clearance though, a really awkward one, it bounces, Shada Gibraltar blocks Sells. 2 good balls in though from Brentford, both times Olaina was there.
Yeah, Olaina was there, but it was good defending initially, but then he just stands and almost gives up. The ball was immediately above him, right in the middle of the 6-yard box, and he just expects Sells to just come and collect it. Unfortunately for Forest, they get it away, but to be able to do that and not actually try and help your goalkeeper out is crazy.
All Brentford at the moment, but they trail by a goal to nil, 25 minutes remaining. Yarmouk's giving a yellow card, I think that was for dissent rather than the challenge. Frustrated at the little niggly foul that has been given against him.
Yeah, I think it's Morgan Gibbs-White, good feet initially, leaves his leg in on Yarmouk, and it's definitely not for the foul, it's for the reaction, and multiple Brentford players surround Sam Barrett in the middle of Forest's defensive half. That frustration is certainly starting to build for Brentford and everyone else that are supporting their home side this afternoon.
Brentford look like they're about to make a change as well. Hickey is going to come on for them, so he comes on for Rico Henry. That'll be a like for like change. Hickey, who will be playing in the World Cup in the summer with Scotland, of course. Off comes Henry then for that one. So happy that Scotland are in the World Cup, Luke.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? What a spectacle we're going to look forward to. But credit to Rico Henry, like you say, 100 Premier League games today. What a professional! What a journey for him, working his way through and playing for this fantastic club. Brilliant.
Forest also about to make a change, though it might come in the next break-in player. 1 year is up, chatting to the technical staff about what he needs to do when he comes onto the field. The big Nigerian number 9 for Nottingham Forest. Ball's in the centre of the pitch. Elliot Anderson, really nice ball with the outside of his foot. Ricochets back though to Brentford. Here's Ouattara. Thiago made a run from wide. Back heels the ball to Ouattara on the edge of the box. Really good quick feet, but too many Nottingham Forest shirts around. And now it's Bishada just inside the penalty area. Out to Jensen, he goes down shoulder to shoulder, and fair play to me, rolls back up and he doesn't ask for the penalty.
Yeah, and listen, we talked about Murillo earlier, but Milenkovic and Murillo, what a pair of centre-halves. Fantastic physicality, reading of the game, and they're playing such a way where their midfielders, they know exactly where to show the ball because they will cover that area. And when they're playing the way they are this afternoon, it doesn't look like Brentford are going to cause them too many problems. Just comes across outside the 6-yard box, uses his strength, sees off Jensen.
Change then for Nottingham Forest. Off comes the goal scorer Igor Jesus. He's replaced by Awonyi, who's not had too many minutes this season in the Premier League, fewer than 200 in total, one Premier League start. Of course, he had that really horrible injury last season where he had to be put in a coma afterwards for the surgery, so I can imagine he's still trying to come back fully from that. Chance here for Forest as they catch Brentford out. Here is Hudson-Odoi, holds it up, back to Nico Williams, 25 yards out, looks for the through ball for Awonyi, too far away from goal and away from the number 9, out it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, and you've got to give credit to Nico Williams and his enthusiasm, the way he plays his football, real aggression, real athleticism, but there, heavy touch, poor decision, just slow the game down, especially when Forest has hit their breaks and their furrows forward have been few and far between.
This second half very much set in a pattern of Brentford with all the possession and trying to break down Forest, and Forest trying to catch them on the counter. Sean Dyche has brought on Amari Hutchinson and Awonyi to try and help with that counter-attacking football that they're playing. 68 minutes played then, Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1. This could be such a big win for Forest. Ball slid in behind looking for Thiago, the flag is up against him, but good defending anyway from Murillo.
Yeah, it's the right idea. Murillo almost gets caught the wrong side. Thiago can't quite get to it, but he's in an offside position, just running just across the 18-yard box towards the corner of it. He just can't get on the end of it. But that's what you want to see more from him. That's where he causes his problems. A bit more movement from him. A bit more intelligence when he's moving forward, trying to offer more from his team. He's looking a little bit frustrated, South. He's got his head on, his chin on his chest. He needs a little bit of a boost.
Brentford need a little bit of a boost. They are behind by a 1-0 here at the GTEC Community Stadium. As Awonyi battles Vandenberg and fouls the centre half. Free kick Brentford, which they take quickly. Here is Hickey out in the left back position for Brentford. Just come on. Scottish fullback back to Collins. Forest aren't entirely sitting deep. They've actually got quite a high back line midway through their own half, but they do drop back when they need to. Here's Sharda just inside his own half. Space in behind the Forest defence if Brentford can find it. If is the question though. 20 minutes remaining here. Brentford fans getting a little bit nervy, a little bit edgy. Their side behind. Sharda now coming forward, edge of the penalty area, drives straight into Milenkovic. And you said it earlier, Luke Chambers, but Milenkovic and Murillo have been excellent.
Well, all the time they don't even have to move. They're not chasing things into corners. They're not getting themselves out of position. They're just reading the game, but that's because the distances between the back four and the midfield four when Brentford in possession are absolutely bang on, and that is how Sean Dyche sets his team up. Listen, they were absolutely ruthless in taking the lead, the way they broke from 6-yard box to 6-yard box, and they've had that one shot on goal, and that's what's given them the lead. And when you're able to do that, listen, you're going to lose games playing that way. Certainly if you take the lead, it's very, very difficult when they are so well drilled to create too many chances and put them under pressure.
And that's what Sean Dyche does when he's in charge. Forest fans, some of them anyway, haven't been enamoured with the appointment and some of the football, but the trajectory they were heading towards under Ange Postecoglou was just not sustainable really for a club of their size, and going down is just unthinkable, isn't it?
It's not an option, is it? It's not an option for a club the size of Nottingham Forest. The aspirations they have being in Europe this year is certainly not how the owner would have foreseen it, and certainly not how the fan base would have foreseen it.
Yeah, how all that optimism for Nottingham Forest has ebbed away, and European campaign, which was caused so much excitement, it's been in a way a bit of a drag. That game on Thursday in Braga, 1-0 loss, and they've got to have this Europa playoff game. I'm sure when it gets into the later stages though, and if Forest do go further down, it will become much more exciting, but so many games, it stretches the depth of this squad, doesn't it?
Yeah, but on the flip side, you bounce into these opportunities if your league form is good, and I think when you're a player, if it isn't that, you don't look forward to those games when it is like raining in Portugal, and yes, you can talk about and laugh about and joke about the weather, but when it isn't going well week in, week out, and all you want to focus on is your Premier League status, everything else goes out the window as a player, and certainly been felt throughout the club, the fan base as well, I would say. Frustrating times, and they're almost going to have to rebuild again, and like you say, spending 180 million, having to rebuild, is certainly not what they'd planned at the start of the season.
And it's difficult as well. Sean Dyche has almost been using two teams, one for Europe and one for the domestic campaign, and I think it's been difficult for those players playing in Europe that aren't playing in the Premier League to come together cohesively as Brentford win a free kick inside Forest's half.
Yeah, absolutely, and you mentioned Elliot Anderson has played every minute of every game in the Premier League, and do you then keep him in your best team playing in Europe? It's very difficult to keep him fit, so that's just one player out of many.
Brentford then will have a chance to lift this into the box, but it's a high line from Nottingham Forest, just a yard outside their own, a couple of yards even outside their own penalty area, and it's dinked forward, cleared by Williams, collected by Coyote. He plays it square back to Janelt. Janelt again lifts it towards the penalty box, but that's not the best of balls, and it's flicked away, collected by Ouattara, back to Yarmouk. Ouattara again, who also cost a lot of money for Brentford. Club record £42 million. Dango Ouattara. Yarmouk now on the edge of the box, out to Jensen. Jensen with a spinning delivery, and it breaks almost in the box for Collins, but Murillo was there to boot it out. Again, good defending from Nottingham Forest, two big centre halves. Not quite falling for Brentford. That final action isn't quite there. Very much the story when they lost to Chelsea last time out as well. Ouattara now running at Williams, breaks for Yarmouth, forced away towards the corner flag by two Forest players, and he's tripped. A little unfortunate there. I don't think Anderson meant to trip him. Free kick Brentford.
No, absolutely not. He didn't. He'd done well to get across and initially snuff out the danger, but it's just that enthusiasm where he gets too close to Yarmouth and gives another. It may as well be a corner. It's right near the corner flag in front of us, down to the right hand side. Certainly improved the atmosphere in here. Brentford leaving bodies forward from a set piece. Two centre halves still remained up for that second phase. Fortunately for Forest, like you say, it didn't quite drop to Brentford, but the pressure's certainly building now.
Final 15 minutes. Brentford trailing by a goal to nil. They've got a free kick out by the corner flag. Janelt, who is over it. They've got all the big boys forward for it. Sean Dyche looks like he's about to make a change, but he'll wait till after this set piece. Here is Janelt then. Delivered towards the back post, headed away, and Thiago with the effort, and just why for a moment I thought that was going to nestle in the top corner. Behind it goes, and that's just been his afternoon. He's not been able to find the target.
It is. Janelt's great ball again to the far post. Morgan Gibbs-White does brilliantly to clear it away, but it lands him. His first touch is brilliant, but it just goes across his instep, and he tries to outside of his right foot to go across the goal, and he just flashes it past the near post. And unfortunately for Brentford, he can't get it on target, but like you say, it sums up so far his afternoon. But he'll take one falling to him and he'll be ready for the next one. But warning signs for Forest.
16 Premier League goals so far for Thiago. Here he is now, chests it down, forced back into the centre circle. Janelt is then dispossessed by Awoniyi. Here is the number 9 out to Hudson-Odoi on the left, up against Coyote, who does well, wins the ball back off Hudson-Odoi. Now he races infield into the centre circle, tries to thread it through for Kevin Schade, but Ola Aina is there. Sangare now out to Amari Hutchinson, we've barely mentioned since he came on. He races infield himself now and then throws it through looking for Awoniyi, cut out well by Collins. Game opening up a little bit now. Forest not just sitting back completely as Jensen drives forward on the left, goes down under a challenge from Sangare, free kick, which he thinks about taking quickly and then opts not to. And I think Nottingham Forest will use this chance to make a change. No, they won't. Yates is ready to go, but he will not be called upon just yet. Collins on the ball for Brentford. Heavy touch out of his feet. Square to his centre-half partner Vandenberg, out to the right-back Coyote in more of a right-wing position. His forward ball, a poor one though. Williams cuts it out. Elliot Anderson then square to Sangare. Forest being forced backward. Brentford playing a nice high line, and Vandenberg wins the through ball and then is fouled by Hudson-Odoi. The referee plays advantage though, and Vandenberg will get up to his feet and limp away. Here is Hickey, socks slung really low. Is he even wearing shin pads? Jordan Henderson stripping off on the Brentford sidelines. We'll be seeing him momentarily. What an astute signing he's been for the Bees.
We certainly look to get Brentford playing in the inside Forest half, of balls forward side, try and get Forest moving a little bit quicker than they are, try and create those gaps that they've probably struggled with in the last 20 minutes of the second half.
12 minutes remaining for Brentford to find a leveller. Nottingham Forest heading for 3 games with 3 games unbeaten in the league. This could be such a boost for them, help them get away from struggling West Ham. Janelt midway inside Forest half, out to the left hand side for Schade, who spins away and cuts into the penalty area, hooked away by Milenkovic, up to Morgan Gibbs-White. He plays it into the channel for Awoniyi. It's just Awoniyi up against one defender, cuts past Vandenberg into the penalty area. Awoniyi, and he slides it in, and Nottingham Forest have a second, and it's Awoniyi all by himself. Got past one defender, the other one slid past him, and he slithered into the bottom corner, and Brentford now trail by 2-0.
What a goal from Awoniyi. Out of absolutely nothing, he's 1v1 with Vandenberg on the far right hand side outside this 18-yard box, and it looks like there's no one in support. We're looking around the halfway line. Who's in support of him? Ball over the top. He's then 1v1, but the cardinal sin for Vandenberg is trying to win the ball 30-40 yards from his own goal and diving in. He just nips past him. Coyote's getting back in, but he can't cause him to stop. He then steps inside him. Brilliant calmness. He almost looks like he takes too many touches, chops it back inside, and the finish beats Kelleher hands up, but out of absolutely nothing, like they did in the first half when taking the lead. Ruthless counter-attack for Nottingham Forest, which puts them 2-0 up.
That's his first goal this season in the Premier League, and he looked, didn't he, like a man who was so relieved to score, sunk to his knees and looked so happy and so relieved. And what a big goal that is in this game and in terms of Nottingham Forest and their hopes for staying away from relegation trouble.
Absolutely, and you talk about likes of Chris Wood that have been missing for Nottingham Forest. A 1 year he's one of those that's been missing massively, and they've felt his presence not being there hugely. He's hardly touched the ball as he's come on second half, but when it's mattered, he's produced an absolute brilliant moment for Forest.
2 changes then for Brentford during that moment of play. And we were enjoying the goal so much that I missed some of them, so I'll come back and let you know who came on in a moment. Jordan Henderson is on the field though. He came on, as did Keane Lewis Potter. So they're the 2 that came on.
Yeah, Hickey's come out to right back now. Keane Lewis Potter's going to play off the left, probably a lot higher than he would be used than a traditional left fullback. Jordan Henderson looks like he's playing a lot more advanced in that midfield area, up against Anderson for Brentford. So they need a reaction very, very quickly. We've got 9 official minutes left on the clock, so strap in for it, I suppose.
Henderson up against Williams. Olaena now, Nottingham Forest 2 goals up, heading for another 3 points. That will be 7 points from their last 3 Premier League games. Kind of form that will help them move away from the bottom of the table. Here is Ouattara. Finds Jordan Henderson on this right hand side. Henderson tried the ball through to Jensen, intercepted back to Sells.
Yeah, you could see that we were trying to do good play from Brentford to break forward. Henderson finds himself sort of 30 yards from goal on the edge of the penalty area, tries to reverse one towards the D of Jensen, but it almost hits Ouattara, who's running across the line on the ball, and drifts back to Sells.
Just confirmation of those subs then. Jordan Henderson replaced Yarmulke and Keane Lewis Potter replaced Coyote. Ball up to Thiago, won by Murillo in the air. Hudson-Odoi now midway inside his own half. Little 5-yard pass to Anderson, and the ball, forward ball from him, bounces off Henderson and goes out for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. Henderson and Anderson both going for the same challenge there, and might we see them in the England squad, both of them in the England squad this summer in the World Cup?
I think you're probably more than likely doing that, as Nico Williams takes an age to take the towel and dry the ball and slow the play down as much as he can for Forest to waste as much time as he can.
Brentford behind by 2-0 here after they lost 2-0 out last time against Chelsea. Up next they've got a really tough run. Villa away, Newcastle away, Arsenal after that. This was a game they would have wanted to get points from, but Nottingham Forest have been excellent. It's been a very astute away performance from Forest. Here is Ouattara though, gets past Williams, drives in field, fouled on the edge of the box, free kick in a brilliant position, 20 yards from goal.
It's a big chance as well, because Ouattara was just about to open up as he was 5 yards outside the 18-yard box in the centre of goal, just to feed it across to Keane Lewis Potter, who was in acres of space, would have had a touch and almost a certain shot on goal, but Nico Williams is way off it, gives a foul away, which probably had to give away, and a chance now in a shooting position for Brentford to get one on target.
A really important moment then for Brentford now. Would be a very opportune time to score. We need to find a goal back from somewhere. Janelt and Jensen over it, one from the left, one from the right.
does it look like they're going to deliver across?
It does, doesn't it?
A little bit. It just looks to me where they're lining up, discussing it, putting everyone forward.
It is quite wide, but it's not too wide for an effort on target. Let's see what they ought to do. It is Jensen, and he does lift it into the area, and it's headed over by Dango Ouattara.
And they're all lining up, and you look at Vandenberg and Collins' reaction, it almost like if you take that header on Ouattara, you have to hit the target, because you've got Vandenberg and Collins crashing in. It's almost a certain goal for the flight of the ball. Ouattara takes it on, but it's just a little bit too high for him to direct it on target, but a massive chance again for Brentford.
Sean Dyche is out on the sidelines, but Keith Andrews has retreated back into one of his seats in the dugout. Some of the Brentford fans are starting to leave. 5 minutes remaining. Brentford trailing by 2 goals to nil. It's just not been their afternoon, as Awoniyi, scorer of Forest's second goal, brings it down on the halfway line, finds Anderson. He threads it into Amari Hutchinson. He finds Gibbs White. Attacking move here from Nottingham Forest. Ola Aina now. Back inside to Hutchinson. Nice 1-2. Aina delivers the ball into the penalty area. Nico Williams brings it down rather awkwardly, and Ouattara's back defending and does really well to win the ball back by his own corner flag, and can only clear it downfield though, and out for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, really good break from Forest there. Now obviously Brentford committing bodies forward, so they're going to leave gaps now on the counter-attack, and Forest nearly capitalised on it. Just a little bit of wrong decision from Nico Williams on this near side. Tries a little crazy skill, and he probably should have just dropped it off to Callum Hudson-Odoi as he makes way.
And yeah, here is a big sign that Sean Dyche is looking to just shore things up. On comes centre-back Morato for Hudson-Odoi. Throw in then for Forest into Elliot Anderson, up by the corner flag. Back to the defender Morato, who plays it off. Thiago out for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest. And Ryan Yates, who was going to come on, has been asked to sit back down. No appearance for him this evening then. Up to Thiago, who controls the ball with his shoulder and then handles the ball, I think, in the eyes of the referee. Free kick Forest.
I think it was a bit of over-exuberant challenge as his control let him down. He then tried to drive a shoulder into Morata's chest. That sums his performance up this afternoon. Real frustrating for him. But Forest now will drop into a back five almost, with Milenkovic, Murillo and Morata on this near side. Nico Williams and Aina will push probably a little bit higher. Just try and solidify now this fantastic lead that Forest have been able to put together.
Elsewhere, Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 2, and that's in injury time. And Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 3. Full coverage, of course, at 4:30 on 5 Live of Arsenal against Manchester United in the Premier League. Here, Brentford trail Forest by 2 goals to nil. Mari Hutchinson out to Ola Aina, corner of the box. Forest players are waiting for the delivery. He drifts in field, back to Elliot Anderson, who helps it out to small figure of Amari Hutchinson on that far side. He'll run at his defender and then lifts one into the penalty area, straight into the grateful gloves of Queeving Kelleher, who just rolls the ball out, and forward come Brentford. Elliot Anderson, though, ever the enforcer in midfield for Nottingham Forest, does really well to win the ball back off Hickey.
What a performance from Elliot Anderson. He's just ran 75 yards across the pitch to track Hickey all the way, didn't dive in, stood up, nicked it off him, and then he had the audacity to roll his foot on it right in front of Sean Dyche 4 or 5 times and then roll it through Hickey's legs. What a performance from him in that heart of midfield for Forest.
We spoke ahead of kick-off as the ball's put in to the Forest box, and Morato was there and heads it behind for a corner, and he had to because Ouattara was there waiting to nail that in at the back post.
He was, and it was Keane Lewis Poe just used the run of Jensen to step inside and deliver one as they take a quick corner in front of us.
Jensen back to Ouattara, his ball across goal, headed up and out by Murillo, and then Awoniyi with the secondary clearance, but the Forest players don't run up to press, they sit deep instead. It's now with Jordan Henderson, back from that knock which saw him miss out against Chelsea. Ball comes back to the England midfielder Henderson. Ouattara now into Jensen. Jensen tries the cute little ball through, cut out though by the massive Forest bodies, and up to Awoniyi, couldn't quite bring it under control, which allows Hickey to go back to Caoimhín Kelleher. 1 minute remaining. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2. Still Brentford though are coming forward. They've not given up hope just yet. They've been so good at form, so good at home this season. Lost just one of their 11 Premier League games here before today, and that was to Manchester City, facing another loss. Just their second this Premier League season so far. Ball out on this left flank with Gibbs White. He edges forward. Henderson has come in to engage him, and then he drifts in field out to Amari Hutchinson, and the ball goes off. Keane Lewis Potter out for a throw-in for Nottingham Forest, as all eyes turn to the fourth official to see how many minutes there will be of injury time. Just 3.
And Sean Dyche will be absolutely over the moon as we see in almost every single Brentford fan start to stand up around us, and the Forest fans' ironic cheers on the far side almost seals the result this afternoon with the lack of injury time that they're going to have to play with.
Ola Aina in possession for Nottingham Forest on that right hand side. A lunging challenge from Keane Lewis Potter on Hutchinson. The ball's gone out though, I think, for a throw in. I know in fact it has been given as a free kick, but Forest aren't going to be in any rush. And as you say, a lot of Brentford fans now streaming out of the GTEC Community Stadium looking to beat the rush.
Yeah, you mentioned their home form season, Flo. It's been remarkable, hasn't it? But this isn't one that anyone would have predicted pre-match. Would have came in with such good feeling about the place. And Forest have certainly shocked everyone with the way they've been ruthlessly efficient with their finishing.
Brilliant move from Forest, steering the ball across. So Awoniyi slipped before he could get there. Up to Thiago now for Brentford. He's forced all the way back towards his own box, and then does manage to pick out a teammate into the channel for Ouattara. He's got 2 Forest players around him, drifts past one of them, goes past Morato. Does it touch the Forest defender? Yes, it does. Corner Brentford. Running out of time here. Brentford trail by 2-0. Into the final 90 seconds then. Ouattara to take the corner. Caoimhín Kelleher midway through the half isn't going to go up for this one. Forest fans enjoying themselves. In comes the corner, flicked on by Sharda, but got too much on it and it spins out behind for a goal kick.
And a similar one to the chance that Ouattara had from the wide free kick. Great ball in from Ouattara, and Sharda's just drifting off the near post, steps away from his man and tries to flick one on, but again Vandenberg is coming flying in behind him with a better angle to potentially get that header on target, and that looks like it's probably going to be the last chance for Brentford. And really is a disappointing attacking performance, albeit 2 huge chances that they missed in that first period.
Forest heading towards a clean sheet as well. That's something that Sean Dyche will take immense pride in, as well as Sells knocks the ball long. Ouattara wins the header. Sangari returns the header. Nodded down now to Dango Ouattara, who's looked creative, useful, coming forward, but again, like all the Brentford attackers, him, Sharda, Thiago, it's just not really come off for them in the final third. As they're still coming forward though, Brentford. We've played the 3 allotted minutes. We're at the discretion of the referee, Sam Barrett now. And there is the full-time whistle there. Nottingham Forest do the double over Brentford this season. They've beaten the Bees by 2-0. Scored in the first half with their only shot on target, Igor Jesus with the finish. Second half, they very much bedded in and tried to catch Brentford on the counter. Brentford had a lot of the ball, a number of attacks, but Awoniyi got another goal for Nottingham Forest. A really good counter-attacking goal for Nottingham Forest, and it's ended here at the GTEC. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 2, and what a big result for them, Luke Chambers. It takes Nottingham Forest 5 points above West Ham in 18th place.
Absolutely huge result for Nottingham Forest. Not the result Brentford wanted, obviously, with the form that they've been in and the progression they've seen as a football club this season, but take nothing away from Nottingham Forest. The way they were able to ruthlessly score the 2 goals that they did, fantastic individual performances in certain areas, and it's just exactly what they needed. We talked about the pressure being put on them by West Ham's win yesterday, and that gap is closing up, but to get this 3 points today shows a real real good character about the team to bounce back from a disappointing performance in midweek in Europe, to really cement themselves as saying, look, we're not giving up yet, we've still got plenty to offer in this division.
Nottingham Forest now level as well with Leeds on 25 points. As for Brentford, a disappointing result, and is that a performance, not just the result, is that a performance that Bees fans should be a little bit worried about?
I wouldn't say worried about. I think everything's about moments and timings of things when they happen. Thiago has a massive chance inside 2 minutes to put Brentford 1-0 up. It would have been a totally different game of football had that gone in. But credit to Forest, they scored at the right time and then were able to really take advantage of Brentford's main men not performing to the levels that we've been used to seeing. And I think it's one of them where they've done so well, they've gotten themselves into position.